See, I am setting before you today the formula of the blessing and curse. The blessing will be intended to motivate you to heed the commandments of God, your God, that I am commanding you today. And the curse will follow if you will not heed the commandments of God, your God, but to turn away from the path that I am commanding you today by following other people's deities, whom you did not know. Thus, when God, your God, will bring you into the land that you are entering in order to possess, you must position those pronouncing the blessing facing Mount Gerizim, and those pronouncing the curse facing Mount Ival. There, these mountains on either side of the Jordan River, further on from the river in the direction of the sunset, in the land of the Canaanites, who dwell in the plain beyond the Gilgal, next to Elonim, in the plains of Moreh. For you are crossing the Jordan River in order to enter and take possession of the land that God your God is giving you. You will indeed take possession of the land and settle it. You must safeguard your ability to fulfill all the rules and ordinances that I am setting before you today by constantly studying the Torah's instructions regarding how to perform them. The following are the rules and ordinances that you must safeguard by studying how to perform them, and the land that God, your God, the God of your forefathers, is giving you to possess all the days you live on the earth. You must utterly eradicate their deities from all the places where the nations whom you will dispossess worship them, upon the lofty mountains, upon the hills, or under every lush tree. You must demolish their multi-stoned altars, smash their one-stoned pedestals, burn their defied trees, and cut down the sculpted images of their deities. You must destroy the names of these idols from that place. You must not do likewise to God your God. Rather, you must go only to the place to which your God will choose from among the territories of all your tribes, to attach his name in order to offer up sacrifices. You must seek his presence and come there. You must bring there your ascent offerings, your peace offerings, your tithes, the first fruits elevated by your hand, the objects of your sacrificial vows and of your sacrificial dedications, and the firstborn of your cattle and flock. You must eat the sacrifices and tithes there before God your God, and you must rejoice in all your endeavors, you and your households, in accord with how God your God has blessed you. You must not act in the same way we do here today, that what each individual deems appropriate, because you have not yet come to the resting place, nor to the inheritance that God your God is giving you. You must cross the Jordan River. You must settle in the land that God your God has given you as an inheritance. He will grant you respite from all your surrounding enemies, and you will dwell securely. Regarding the place to which God your God will choose to attach his name, there you must bring all that I am commanding you, your scent offerings, your peace offerings, your tithes, the first fruits elevated by your hand, and all the choice objects of your sacrificial vows that you vow to offer up to God. You must rejoice before God your God, you, your sons, your daughters, and your bondmen, your bondwomen, as well as the Levite who is within your cities, for he has no portion or land inheritance with you. Take heed not to offer up your ascent offerings at any site you see fit, but only in the place that God will choose, located in the territory belonging to one of your tribes. There you must offer up your ascent offerings, and there must you do all that I am commanding you. However, as much as you desire, you may slaughter and eat meat in any of your cities, according to the blessing that God your God will have given you. Ritually defiled people and ritually undefiled people may eat thereof together, just as they eat gazelle and deer together. However, you must not consume the blood. You must spill it out on the ground like water. You may not consume within your cities the second tithe of your grain, wine or oil, or the firstborn of your cattle or flocks, or any of the objects of your sacrificial vows that you may vow, or the objects of your dedication, or the first fruits elevated by your hand. Rather you, your son, your daughter, your bondman, and your bondwoman, and the Levite of your cities may eat these portions and tithes before God, your God, within the place that God your God will choose. You must rejoice before God your God in all your endeavors. Take heed not to forsake the Levite all your days, that you will dwell upon your land. When God your God expands your boundary, as he has spoken, when God your God expands your boundary, as he has spoken concerning you, and you say, I will eat meat, because you desire to eat meat, you may eat meat according to your every desire. If the place to which your God chooses to attach his name will be distant from you, you may slaughter of your cattle and flocks that God has given you in accordance with the method that I command you to use, and you will eat in your cities according to your every desire. But you may eat it as gazelle and deer are eaten. Ritually defiled people and ritually undefiled people may eat it together. However, be resolute not to consume the blood, for blood is the animal's life force. Similarly, you must not consume the animal's life force together with its flesh. You must not consume it. You must spill it out on the ground like water. You must not consume it in order that it will be well for you and your children after you, when you do what is proper in the eyes of God. However, you must take your consecrated animal offerings that you will have, as well as the animals used to fulfill your sacrificial vows, and come to the place that God will choose. You must offer up your ascent offerings, the meat and the blood, upon your altar of God your God. The blood of your peace offerings must be poured upon the altar of God your God, and afterwards you may eat the flesh. Safeguard all these words that I am commanding you today by studying the Torah's instructions regarding how to perform them, and hearken to them, that it may benefit you and your children after you forever, when you do what is good in the eyes of God your God, and proper in the eyes of human beings. When God your God cuts down the nations inhabiting the land that you are entering in order to dispossess them, and you have dispossessed them and settled in your land, beware lest you imitate them after they have been annihilated from before you, and lest you inquire about their deities, saying, how did these nations serve their deities? I will do likewise. You must not do this to your God, to God your God, for they performed for their deities every act that God considers an abomination, and therefore hates. They would burn even their sons and daughters in fire to their deities. Everything I command you, that is what you must be careful to do. You must neither add it to it nor detract from it. If there will arise among you a prophet or dreamer, and gives you a sign or a marvel, and the sign of the marvel of which he spoke to you takes place, and he says, let us follow each other people's deities, which you have not known, and let us worship them. You must not heed the words of that prophet or dreamer, because God your God is testing you, to ascertain whether you really love God your God with all your heart and with all your soul. You must follow God your God, fear him, safeguard his commandments, heed his voice, worship him, and cleave to him. That prophet or dreamer must be put to death, because he spoke deceptively about God your God, who took you out of Egypt and redeemed you from the houses of slavery, in order to lead you astray from the way in which God your God commanded you to go. So must you eliminate this evil from your midst. If your brother, the son of your mother, your son, your daughter, the wife who lives in your embrace, or your friend as dear to you as your own soul, incites you in secret, saying, let us go and worship other people's deities, which neither you nor your fathers have known, from among the deities of the peoples around you, near you, or far away from you. from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. You must not love him, you must not hearken to him, you must not pity him. You must have mercy, you must not have mercy, you must not cover up for him. Rather, you must kill him. Your hand must be the first against him to put him to death, and afterwards he must die at the hand of all people. You must pelt him with stones so that he dies, because he sought to lead you astray from God your God, who took you out of Egypt, out of the houses of slavery. All Israel must listen to the case, so that they may be afraid to do likewise, and so that they may never again commit any evil such as this in your midst. If you hear people in one of your residential cities that God your God is giving you, and saying, men who are unfaithful have gone forth from among you, and have led the inhabitants of their city astray, saying, let us go and worship other people's deities, which you have not known. You must inquire, investigate, and question the witnesses thoroughly. If it is indeed true, the matter is certain, that this abomination has been committed in your midst. You must strike down the inhabitants of that city by the edge of the sword, destroying it along with all that is in it and its animals by the edge of the sword. You must gather all its spoils into the midst of its open square, and completely burn the city and all of its spoil in fire, in honor of God your God. It must be a heap of destruction forever, never to be rebuilt. Nothing that is doomed to be destruction may remain in your possession, so that God may turn from his fierce wrath and inspire others to treat you with compassion, be compassionate with you, and multiply you, as he swore to your forefathers, provided that you hearken to the voice of God your God by keeping all his commandments that I am commanding you today, in order that you may do that which is proper in the eyes of God your God. You are the children of God your God. You must neither cut yourselves nor make a bald spot between your eyes for the dead. You are a holy people to God your God, and God has chosen you out of all nations upon the earth to be his treasured people. You must not eat any abomination. The following are the land animals that you may eat: work bulls, lambs, kids, deer, gazelle, fallow deer, ibex, addax, bison, and wild sheep, as well as every land animal whose feet are not only partially cloven, but completely split into 2 sub-feet, and that regurgitates its cud. You may eat a fetus inside such an animal, but you must not eat of these that regurgitate the cud, or have split feet, the cloven one, the camel, the hare, and the hyrax, for they regurgitate the cud, but do not have completely cloven feet. Eating them renders you spiritually defiled. And the pig, because it has cloven feet, but does not regurgitate the cud. Eating it renders you spiritually defiled. You must not eat of their flesh. You must not touch their carcasses. Among all creatures that live in the water, you may eat these. You may eat all that have fins and scales, but you must not eat whatever does not have fins and scales, for eating them renders you spiritually defiled. You may eat every bird that does not impart spiritual defilement. These are those from which you must not eat: the griffin vulture, the bearded vulture, the osprey, the various other species of vulture, every type of species of crow, the ostrich, the cuckoo, the gull, and various species of sparrowhawk, the screech owl, the barn owl, the bat, the pelican, magpie, cormorant, the stork, the various species of heron, the hoopie, and the atalef. Every crawling creature that flies renders you spiritually defiled. If eaten, they may not be eaten. You may eat only fowl that do not render you spiritually defiled. You must not eat any carcass. You may give it to the resident alien who is in your cities, so that he may eat it, or you may sell it to a non-Jew, for you are a holy people to God your God. You must not cook a young animal in its mother's milk. You must tithe all the produce of the seed that the field yields year by year. You must eat this tithe of your grain, wine, and oil, as well as the firstborn of your cattle and your flocks, before God your God, in the place which he will choose to attach his name, so that you may learn to revere God your God always. If the journey is too long for you, and for you are unable to carry your produce that far because the place to which God your God will choose to attach his name is too far from you, for God your God has blessed you, you may assign it to money. You must bind up the money in your hand and go to the place that God your God will choose. You must purchase with that money whatever the soul desires, cattle, flocks, new wine, or old wine, whatever your soul desires, and you must eat there before God your God, and you must rejoice, you and your household. As for the Levite who resides in your cities, you must not forsake him, for he has neither any portion in the spoils of war nor any land inheritance with you. After the end of 3 years, you must take whatever part of the tithe of your crop that is left in that year from the preceding 3 years and place it outside the gates. The Levite, because he has no portion or inheritance with you, the convert, the orphan, the widow who are in your cities will come eat and be satiated, so that God your God will bless you in all the work of your hand that you do. You must conduct a release of loans at the end of 7 years. This is the type of release. Every creditor must relinquish whatever money he lent his fellow. He may not exact repayment from his fellow or his brother, for God has proclaimed a release in honor of God. You may exact repayment from a Gentile, but you must relinquish whatever your brother owes you. However, there will be no destitute people among you, inasmuch as God will bless you in the land that God your God is giving you to possess as an inheritance, provided that you hearken to the voice of God your God by safeguarding all the commandments that I am commanding you today, studying the Torah's instructions, and then performing them. For God your God has blessed you as he spoke concerning you. You will lend money to many nations, and you will not borrow money. You will rule over many nations, and they will not rule over you. If there will be among you a destitute person among one of your brothers in your locale, in your land that God your God is giving you, you must not harden your heart. You must not close your hand to the destitute, your brother. Rather, you must open your hand for him or lend him enough for his needs, whatever he is lacking. Beware lest there be an unfaithful thought in your heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of release, is approaching, and you begrudge your destitute brother and not give him a loan, for he will cry out to God against you, and it will be accounted as sin for you. Rather, you must give him a loan. Your heart must not be aggrieved when you give to him, for as soon as you promise to give, God your God will bless you in all your work and all your endeavors on account of this word. For there will never cease to be destitute people in the land. Therefore I command you, saying, you must open your hand to your brother, whether poor or destitute in your land. If your brother, a Hebrew man, is indentured to you, or a Hebrew woman, he must serve you 6 years. You must send him forth free from you in the 7th year. When you send him forth free from you, you must not send him forth empty-handed. You must provide him with a gift from your flock, from your threshing floor, and from your vat, with which God your God has blessed you. You must recall that you were a slave in Egypt, that God your God redeemed you. Therefore I am commanding you today this thing. If he says to you, I will not leave you, because he loves you and your household, for it is good for him with you. You must take an awl and put it through his earlobe and into the door, and he will be a bondman to you until the Jubilee year. You must also do the same for your bondwoman. You must not be troubled when you send him away from you free, because for 6 years he served you twice as much as a hired servant. God your God will bless you in all that you do. You must consecrate every firstborn male that is born of your herd or flock to God your God. You must not work the field with the firstborn of your work bowl. You must not shear the firstborn of your flock. You must eat it before God your God within the place that God will choose, you and your household year by year. If it be blemished, whether it be lame, blind, or suffering from any bad blemish, you must not sacrifice it to God your God. You may eat it in your cities, the ritually defiled people and the ritually undefiled people together, just like gazelle and deer. However, you must not consume its blood. You must spill it out onto the ground like water. Safeguard the month of ripening. You must offer up the Passover offering to God your God, because God your God took you out of Egypt in the month of ripening at night. You must slaughter the Passover sacrifice to God your God from the flock and peace offering of cattle in the place to which God your God will choose to attach his name. You must not eat it with leavened bread for 7 days. Thereafter you must eat matzos, the bread of affliction, because you went out of Egypt hastily, in order that you remember the day when you went out of Egypt all the days of your life. No leavening agents of yours may be seen throughout your domain for 7 days. None of the meat that you must slaughter in the afternoon of the preceding day may remain overnight until the morning. You must not offer up the Passover offering with any of the cities that God your God has given you. Rather, you must slaughter the Passover offering in the place to which God your God will choose to attach his name in the afternoon. You must eat it after the sun sets and burn it in the morning, on the anniversary of the appointed time that God fixed for your departure from Egypt. You must roast the Passover offering and eat it in the place that God your God will choose. You may leave and go home in the morning. You must eat matzot for 6 days. On the 7th day there must be a restriction of activity in honor of God your God. You must not do any work on it. You must count 7 weeks for yourself. You must begin to count 7 weeks from the first time of the sickle may be put to standing crop of grain to harvest it. You must observe the festival of Shavuot in honor of God your God. The extent of your generosity in observing this festival should be in accordance with the abundance with which God your God will have blessed you. You must rejoice before God your God, you, your son, your daughter, your bondman, your bondwoman, the Levite from your city, the convert, the orphan, the widow who are among you, in the place to which God your God will choose to attach his name. You must recall that you were a slave in Egypt, and you must safeguard these rules by studying the Torah's instructions regarding how to perform them and to do them. You must observe for yourself the festival of Sukkot for 7 days. When you gather the produce from your threshing floor and from your vat, you must rejoice in your festival. You, your son, your daughter, your bondman, and your bondwoman, the Levite, the convert, the orphan, and the widow who are from your city. You must celebrate the festival in honor of God your God for 7 days in the place that God will choose, because God your God will bless you in all your produce and in all of the work of your hands, and you will be only happy. Every one of your males must appear before God your God in the place he will choose 3 times a year, on the festival of Matzot, on the festival of Shavuot, and on the festival of Sukkot. He must not appear before God empty-handed. Every man must bring as many offerings as he can afford, in accordance with the blessing of God your God that he has given you.